is up, Packer fans? Welcome back to another episode of BAM GPG. Today we're going to look into a further dive of the Packers versus Cowboys game.
Yeah, so we'll get into that here, Bryson. We'll give everyone a quick update on all things new with the Packers today. So let's start with the updates first, Bryson. So the Packers did promote an offensive lineman, Brant Banks, from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. Again, he's an offensive lineman, and given how much shuffling we've seen so far early in the season up front, the depth is certainly welcome at the offensive line position, especially after last weekend in Cleveland. And at the same time, Green Bay, I'm sure some of you saw the headlines, did release Mecole Hardman, wide receiver from the practice squad, and brought in wide receiver Jacoby Kinney James. So that's clearly a move for the Packers to really stabilize the depth chart while dealing with some of these key injuries. And speaking of injuries, we've touched on it before. Green Bay's struggling at wide receiver right now. Jaden Reed's going to be out for an undisclosed amount of time, probably trending more towards the end of November. And Christian Watson, I'm hoping we're not far off from him. I'm hoping maybe shortly after the week 5 bye week, we may start seeing him on a limited basis. So that is the quick update for the Packers today. Now, let's talk about the Sunday night showdown in Dallas, Bryson.
Yeah.
So the Packers are coming in 2-1. The Cowboys are sitting at 1-2. And the storylines for this game, they're everywhere, right? The biggest one being Micah Parsons. So this
revenge game.
It is, yeah. So this is going to be his first game against Dallas since coming over to Green Bay. And as you know, the Cowboys are going to be extra motivated to scheme around him, right? You saw Jerry Jones himself already talk about how the team, when I would say team, I'm referring to Dallas, is going to try to mitigate Parsons, right? That tells you how disruptive they expect him to be during this game. Now, Dallas, they are banged up a little bit as well. We mentioned it yesterday. CeeDee Lamb is dealing with a high ankle sprain that he suffered last weekend. So their offensive line, it's in flux right now, and they haven't looked that sharp this season. Green Bay's offensive line hasn't looked that sharp either. But on the flip side, the odds makers actually like Green Bay here on the road. FanDuel has us favored by 6.5 going into this game. So that's nearly a 75% odds of winning the game for Green Bay if you're a betting person. So for Green Bay, Bryson, the key is simple. Like last week, control the tempo, limit the negative plays that you see with those untimely penalties, false starts, holdings, things like that, and keep Dallas's defense on their heels, right? If Jordan Love, if he gets time in the pocket, he can pick apart that Dallas secondary who's really struggled this year.
And I also saw that the Cowboys will not be mentioning anything about the release of Micah Parsons at the game or anything like that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, it was a short career there in Dallas, but you think some of the fans would still be partial to him. I guess we will see what kind of reaction he gets when he returns on Sunday. But defensively for the Packers, if Parson in the front seven keep pressure on Dak Prescott, I think Dallas is going to be forced into some pretty uncomfortable situations, and we may see a turnover or two during this game. So my prediction, I think Green Bay is going to win this game. Do they cover the 6.5? I think they probably do, right? As long as that offense, the big question mark for the Packers, right? That offensive line, we're going to go as far as that offensive line allows us to go. So, I mean, hopefully after this Cleveland game, that really lit a spark in them, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see. The defense is ready to play this year. That's not a question mark this year. Special teams is a little bit of a question mark. We've kind of ranted on that a little bit with Rich Bisaccia a little bit. So won't go into that one very much further, but that offensive line is certainly a big question mark. So that's where we're at today. Roster moves, injuries, and a massive matchup with Dallas. Week 4 we're in on Sunday night. So a little perspective, Bryson, on how we handle losses as a fan base. And this Cowboys game is going to tell us a lot about where the Packers team stands right now this early in the season.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for Sunday night.
Me too.
As always, let us know what you think in the comments.
Yep.
Do you agree with the Vegas line giving us the edge with nearly 6.5 points on the road in Dallas? Are you buying into the Micah Parsons revenge game hype?
Yeah.
And most importantly, how you guys feeling about Jordan Love? There's a lot of
Yeah,
negativity out there right now. A lot of it not warranted, right? You have to look at the game in totality, look how the offensive line played, look how the receiving core played, and not just place the blame, as we mentioned in a previous video, solely on the quarterback, especially a young developing quarterback like Jordan Love. So
yeah,
that is what we have for today. Bryson, I think we're going to dive in a little bit deeper on some of these matchups. Probably a little later on this week, we'll
yeah.
dabble in that a little bit and we'll get through our week's picks, let you know how we finished last week. So everyone, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back to break down this game some more, as we mentioned. And as always, Bryson,
It's go Pack, go.